You know, like I said before, you know, when Yatrell was born August 31st, 2004, after, you know, the marriage license with the date of April 30th, 2004, you know, I don't know what those other guys or people, you know, was talking about a marriage contract or and stuff like that. I never agreed to any contract or any deals, you know, that Hollywood stuff about killing and making a killing and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm saying the words right, you know. I seen this movie one time before, you know, and it was called Midsummer. Midsummer. And there was a family, and there was a girl, and there was a guy. And it was a guy, he was only interested in having sex with a girl, you know. He didn't care about her family, or any of that stuff, you know. I actually care, you know, about girls and the family and all of that. I care so much about girls and the family and stuff like that that I didn't make any other girls into single moms or single mothers or parents or, you know, whatever they identify themselves as, you know. And with a birth certificate for Trail with the date of August 31st, 2004, and when I said I only wanted one child, you know, and I said that, you know, I only wanted one child, you know, August 31st, 2004, the day he was born. I said it, you know, because when he was born and, you know, I felt the energy of, you know, his presence and what it feels like, you know, being told that I am, you know, a parent, and then being married under the influence of being married, under the influence of being a parent, stuff like that. Well, I was told that, you know, you should not put more on a person than a person could bear, you know. According to the Bible, you're not supposed to put more on someone than they can bear, you know. I don't know whose idea it was, you know, because, you know, they called themselves a family. Let me clear my throat. They call themselves a family, you know, because, you know, since it wasn't my idea, someone must have been talking to someone else when they said that, you know, they think that Yatrell needs a brother or a sister. And, you know, sometime between August 31st, 2004, I was told that he had a brother and a sister. And, you know, I went to all of those family court dates, you know, until they closed the case or something like that or something. And then, you know, they started making me pay money and stuff like that, you know, for visitation and, you know, just to see the children and stuff like that, you know. And, you know, it's crazy because whenever they did like a home evaluation, they would always say that, you know, whether it was an apartment or a house, you know, or wherever I was staying at, they would always be like, yeah, it's good enough for them, you know. And it's never any child abuse or any stuff like that. It's never any sexual crimes or any stuff like that, you know. For me, of course, you know. And it's crazy because, you know, when I was watching that movie Midsummer, you know, and the guy only cared about having sex with the girl and his career or whatever he was doing. You know, there's a lot of crazy movies like that. It was some people, they said it was like witches or it was her family and stuff like that. They offered to have sex with him, and he had sex with all of them and went to a dinner party and some kind of feast or festival or something like that. And then, at the end of it, like they put him in a tent and set the tent on fire. There was some other people in there too. And they burnt them people, they burnt them up or something. They burnt them or something like that. I don't know if it was a metaphor or what was going on. I'm not really that good at, movies and stuff like that. But I didn't want to do what he did. Just because he was a family and it was a lot of girls, and whether they said they was witches or rich or had magic or powers and stuff like that. I did not want to look like a deadbeat dad, and I did not want to neglect the family and children and stuff like that. So, but I always call and try to find out, on the phone what was going on. I wouldn't want to seem like I was harassing anyone because, those people that's 25 or 120th Street, when I was 14 years old, like 15 years old, somewhere during that time, they would try to use the juvenile court and say I was harassing them or something like that. It should be stuff in the paperwork about that, like when I was 14 years old. So, I recorded some videos and then, put a link in the description and, I was like, for my safety and, for me, I was like, the people that the family court said, that the mom, that the family, those people would have to explain, like, what was going on with Lord Gerald, you know, and Trinity and stuff like that. Because if your child is 18 years of age and, legally old enough to get married, and since I'm married, according to my marriage license is the date of April 30th, 2004, there's been questions about the identity of my wife and the mom and, the character of the family and the children and stuff like that. It's crazy because, I was told I did my job because when it wasn't my idea to have more than one child, because I'm like, well, when I was there, I don't know why he would need a brother, or a sister. And what I mean, I don't know why Yatrell would have needed Lord Gerald or Trinity as a brother or a sister, because it wasn't my ideal. But, under the influence of being married, under the influence of being told that I'm a husband, a dad, and, it's my baby and stuff like that. That's your baby, that kind of talking and stuff like that. I was just doing my job, Like I hurt a lot doing my job, because, I don't really know how I was able to do any of the stuff that I did because, it wasn't really a lot of good examples around when I was growing up back then. Because, when I first went to 2715 Avenue E, they said it was a lady named Pat, and then she had some children with a guy named Darren. And he did not stay married until, the children were 18, from what, I was told, the way it was explained to me, because, see, it was a girl named Keisha, and, she wasn't 18, and Darren wasn't there claiming that he was married. I never saw him at 2715 with a marriage license claiming he was the dad or the husband of Patricia Williams, stuff like that. It's crazy, But they said he was Keisha's dad, they tried to get me to have sex with that girl. And it's messed up because, I think they wanted to accuse me of being a child molester. Just like they tried to get me to have sex with all of those girls. They tried to present them to me. It's like they would pair them up, They would be like, they would try to give you two girls at the same time. They had some Rachel and Leah stuff they would do. I don't really know. Because I never asked them, to pair up girls for me and stuff like that. And the way they did it was wrong too, because the girls would always be pregnant. From what I understood, what was told to me from other people. The girls didn't tell me that. Other people said, oh, she already pregnant. Don't do it to her. You know. And he said one time, you know, it was a lady named Pat. And she said she went to see the stages to some rap concert or something like that. Some music festival. You know, I was supposed to be there to see a girl that, you know, they said her name was April. She took the girl April with her and left me, you know, at the house with the girl named Keisha. Keisha was supposed to be, you know, not as old as April, you know, something younger. I don't know, you know. And those people had a bad way of thinking. They liked it like young little girls. And they would always think that if you offer him something younger, you know, he would go for it, you know. They always go for the youngest ones, you know, stuff like that. You know, I wasn't interested in doing it, you know, stuff like that with those people and stuff like that, you know. And so, you know, they would tell me stuff. They would be like, well, you know, he should be doing stuff with the other girls. They said she'd be doing stuff with, like, you know, her sister and the other people in the family and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, like, what she does is what she does, you know. I wasn't trying to do it. And then, you know, one day she said that the girl Keisha, you know, that's what she said her name was. She was like, you can do stuff with them. You just have to, like, do it with Jeremy too. I'm like, do it with Jeremy? I'm like, what? I don't participate in, you know, sexual activities with other guys, with other dudes. You know, I don't do threesomes, whether it's directly or indirectly, you know, renting a train or switching up, swapping, swinging, none of that, you know. And it was at 2715 Avenue E, you know. And this it was a girl that was supposed to be her sister, you know, she gave me a kiss on the cheek and stuff like that, you know. It felt weird, you know. It didn't feel weird like, you know, I didn't feel like she was weird. It just felt weird because, you know, when I read the Bible, you know, they were saying that's the stuff that Judas and the people that, you know, this something that sometimes when a person mean to you, it could be something that they tried to set you up, like, you know. And she didn't ever tell me what it means, so, you know, it seemed kind of shady, you know, because I'm like, then they say that dude Judas kissed somebody on the cheek and, you know, tried to set them up, you know. It doesn't mean that she loves you. It doesn't mean that she likes you. It doesn't mean that, you know, any of it. So, no, I didn't really say anything, you know. And, you know, I kind of felt bad because, you know, I was like, you know, how do I know she wasn't trying to set me up or was being mean to me, you know, part of, you know, those religions and traditions of men and stuff like that. Then, you know, they said that she had a baby and stuff like that. And it was crazy because, you know, I never actually saw her pregnant. So it's like, I really couldn't really say where the baby came from. And, you know, according to the birth certificates or stuff, you know, when I was there, I never heard of the child ever turning 18, you know, the baby that she had, you know. So whoever the guy was, you know, obviously he didn't marry her and he didn't stay until the child was 18, you know. You know, your firstborn child that you have with a person, you know. People always want to talk about, you know, birth rights and making sure that the birth was right. You know, just like making sure it's the right person. I don't know where I get the example from, you know. I would always say I believe in God and it's because of God, you know, because when, you know, that lady they said her name was Yolanda and she said she was married to a dude named Willie, you know, with God as my weakness, I would go to the Brickyard Hill Church of God in Christ in the city of Bessemer, Alabama. It was a pastor by the name of Superintendent Paul Bevel. You know, I was there, you know, and that dude Willie Jensen and that lady Yolanda Jensen, they got divorced. And then they tried to do that remarriage stuff. You know, I don't really believe in that remarriage stuff. Something about that stuff that seemed wrong, you know. And it was in the city of Bessemer, and I was like, you know, so he didn't stay married, you know, the same way, you know. They got a divorce on paper, right? And then got married again. It was talking about they was separated and stuff like that. And, it's crazy because, I'm in the city of Macon, Georgia, and they say there is no such thing as separation in the state of Georgia. And I would always tell people that I'm married and stuff. So, when people were saying that they was April Williams and using her name and identity or saying that they were Brandon Johnson, well, it was in 2015, It was sometime during September 2015 or October 2015, and I was in jail. I was in Bibb County LEC. It was like somebody broke the law and somebody did something wrong because since there is no such thing as separation in the state of Georgia, and I have a marriage license, with a date of April 30th, 2004. It was like, somebody being, doing stuff that's against the law. Not me, of course, And it's crazy because, like, well, when you think about your wife and your family, you went to 2715 Avenue E, it's crazy because, they say it was a girl named Angel Renee Williams, Angel Renee Robinson or something like that. I don't know what name she's using these days, but, they said she had a baby named Janiyah, and she wasn't married when, their child was born. And whoever the baby daddy was, obviously he didn't marry her before the child was born and stayed until the child was 18, claiming the marriage. The way that I am, the way that I did. And it's crazy because, it was other girls. It was a girl named Trinice, and she had some children. And whoever got her pregnant, he didn't stay until the child was 18 or the children was 18, the way that I did. And I don't even know, I don't think he ever claimed that he was married to her. I never saw a marriage license. Then they said it was the same thing. Said it was a girl named D-Trail, had children. The guy did not stay until, the children were at least 18, I never saw a marriage license, but they said, he actually got mad and divorced her, for the same stuff that, I'm saying that they did to me. Tricking, scheming, plots, whatever these misses that they did, it was like some of the guys, they couldn't handle it, it was too much for them, and it, they didn't make it until the children was 18, not even the firstborn, whether they wanted one child or not, some of them didn't even stay. It's just like, they said that dude, there was a murderer named Jeremy Williams. They said he had a son called Jeremy Jr. with a girl named Kiki or something. And they said he never married her. And he definitely didn't stay until the child was 18. They said he only had one child with her. So he had his chance to have one child and stay until the child was 18 and actually marry the person he had a child with. But, somebody kept saying it was Jeremy's sister and bragging on him for what he did, And then they said the same dude, Jeremy, had a child, with Aisha. They say he had more than one child with a girl named Aisha Hawthorne. And then he never married her. And he definitely didn't stay until the child was 18, whether he was the firstborn or second or any of it. Said the brothers did the same thing, Said it was a dude named Aaron D'Angelo Williams. And then he had a baby with Tashima Hawthorne. And they said he was never married to her and he didn't stay until the child was 18. Because how can you stay if you was never married? It's crazy. And they said they had a dad, somebody said it was a dude named Romus Simpson or Romus Sampson. I don't know, was it Sampson or Simpson? I think it was called Sampson, ROMASSAMPSON, something like that. He would call himself an apostle. Those types of guys that call themselves apostles. Their attitude and arrogance. Well, they say, it was the same stuff with him. When he, met the girls, the family, the ladies, the women, that, he had sex with two sisters named Linda and Glenda. Linda Williams and Glenda Williams and had children with them. Said it was a child named Shanae Williams. She looked just like the dude Romus. They said it was a child, some children, Charlisa Williams, Angel Williams, and Trinice Williams. And they said they was part of the Linda Williams family. They looked just like him, same color and all of these stuff like that, or very similar. This is what they say, according to the birth certificates. So they said, when he meet those people, they said he already had a wife and he just had to have sex with two sisters. He had to have them. And a lot of people didn't understand it, because, when I went there, they tried to do the same stuff with me. They tried to pair these girls up, Angel Williams and Stacey Williams. And, the Stacey girl was already pregnant. They tried to get me to, have sex with them. Some girl ran off the front porch with a dude that they said his name was TJ, and they said it was a dude named Jamal and Pee Wee in the car with TJ, and there's something about girl running out their mama house in a thong and what was going on. She said it wasn't her and stuff like that. Whatever they did, I didn't leave outside of my marriage and go to one of the other sisters, like those other guys did. I stayed, and that was the crazy part about the family court situation, because they was like, they told me that I didn't do anything wrong and that, I don't have to really go to the court because the family would have to explain. And it was a lot of explaining to do. Because if it was just one child the way that I said it was supposed to be, and they would have to explain whose idea was it for, it to be a brother and a sister, Lord Gerald Jensen and Trinity Jensen, since they was not supposed to put more on me than I can bear, stuff like that. It was like, okay, so it's evidence, if, according to the birth certificate, Gatrell is 18 years of old, legally of age for a marriage, that I did not abuse or murder or kill or sexually molest or do anything wrong, to him or anyone, So, if it was just him, the whole court case would be over with. It would be evidence that, that I was never a threat to myself or others, and that, I'm not suicidal and I'm not a threat to myself or others, of course. So, stuff like that. So it was like, it's been proven from my, behavior that, so you mean to tell me that that child, according to the birth certificate, is 18 years old and a Brandon did not do wrong to him or any child? So somebody lied about me, because it was like, it's crazy. And so, I'm not sure who was the ideal, any of this stuff was, because, I saw this movie one time, it was called The Shining. And the dude was like in a hotel writing a book and went crazy. He went to go have sex with other people and stuff like that and wanted to kill his own wife. I would never kill anyone, whether it was my wife, her sister, her mom, her family, anyone's family, stuff like that. I don't have to have a book or a record deal or fame or fortune or any of that, I was never really interested in it, I never agreed to play devil's advocate with anyone. No, not my ideal, stuff like that. I was told I was doing wrong, stuff like that, because when a person tried this hard, and I've just been in the room by myself a lot, these 18 years. It was like, when there was people on TV and on the radio and in the neighborhood, and when people were rich and had a lot of money, garbage bags full of money, suitcases full of money, people was talking about they seen people's advance and stuff like that. When they had all of that money and all of that access, And they still did not marry the girls. They still did not stay until the child was 18, not even if it was their firstborn child with that particular girl, whoever that was, when they had their firstborn. I was told there's no excuse for their behavior because if a person that was treated as bad as me was able to stay until the child was 18, and it was not my idea for the other two children, and that someone else would have to explain, what they're going to do about it. And there's links in the description from where I called and, they told me that, I didn't have to come to court and stuff like that. And, the mom or the family or the other people would, have to explain because, if you can love those guys and those girls and those people that did not stay, and they did other stuff, they was like, you should really love me, a person that was able to stay, you know. They had these sisters, and they tried to make me fall in love with them. And in a way I did, because when the other guys wouldn't stay and when the other guys didn't love them and when the other guys didn't like them like that, they just used them for sex, I would pray for them a lot. I would think about them a lot. Not in a sex way, Some of the clothes that they would wear, some of the stuff that, they would do, the way that, they would, some of the poses and positions and, stuff that they did, with their hair or stuff like that, you know. I would like some of the styles, in being married, when I would go to the store, I would be like, ooh, look at that, and this, and those clothes, and this stuff, you know. I thought that some of the stuff, would look, attractive, the clothes and, some of the styles, being married, of course, for someone's wife, you know, if she wanted to, wear certain clothes and hairstyles and, certain colors and, certain styles, it didn't have to be her sister or her family or, anyone, Different people have different styles, A shirt that looks good on, one girl, it might look good on the next girl or another girl, A hairstyle that looks good on one girl, it might look good on the next girl or another girl, stuff like that. So it wasn't about lust or wanting to be with, more than one person, whether they were older or younger. It was just that, some styles look good, And, it wasn't about who did it first and stuff like that. So, it's just crazy because, if they were able to brag on, their dad and their uncles and their family members and, those guys that just had sex with them and stuff like that and didn't even stay around, some of the people was like, how did you do it, Brandon? How did you stay this long? And I was told I'm different, Even though they, the people in that family would always, you know, it's like they tried to influence me to do bad stuff. I believe they wanted me to look like a child molester, Like, I don't know why. I guess they said if everyone was a certain way, then it would just be the way. But I'm different, So it's crazy because, when the girls, when they said that they were all baby mamas and had children with people or whatever, it broke my heart. It broke my heart because, the people who they said they had children by did not marry them and stuff like that. And it also broke my heart because, the person, that I am in the 18 years, from 2004, I was being treated like garbage by a family and, it seemed like it was never about me, So it felt like, it feel crazy, But I feel real, to know that I stayed. Because it was like when a person had all of that family support and all of those people and all of that money and all of that access, And they did not stay with each other, and they did not love each other, and they did not treat each other that way, not even for their own children. I was told a lot of those guys and a lot of those girls do not have any excuse, if I was able to stay and put up with all the mess that I put up with, and I still claim my marriage. I'm not sure of where my wife is or what's been done, and I'm not sure of where the children are or what they're going to do about it. But I still say I care. And, if anyone knows about the situation, there's a comment section and stuff like that. But there's only so much I could do, being in a wheelchair and disabled and stuff like that. I'm not suicidal. I'm not a threat to myself or others. And I love you all. Believe me, I do. You know. And congratulations again to y'all trail and, to everyone. I just thank God for God.